Hey guys, welcome back to another Friday Fireside Chat. Thanks so much again for being here this week. And this Friday, I want to talk to you guys about something really interesting. I've been coming across some more visualization techniques, and these are coming from this Rosicrucian society, secret society, whatever you want to call that. So I found some presentation. This is it's an outstanding. I simply cannot overemphasize that if you're learning how to do visualizations and you're having some trouble, please watch this 3-step series on YouTube. It's you can find the link in the show notes as always to the first video. It's like 3 different videos, so be sure you capture the other 2. But these visualization techniques, she's walking you through the point of visualization, why it works, and she's giving you multiple examples and different levels of visualizing. And so I have already spent some time doing visualization exercises, so I was quite, in the loop. But she adds much more detail and really explains and teaches you and guides you through each step, and also tells you and gives you justification for why it's important. And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out these lessons and see what you think about them.
Once again, in order for a visualization to appear to be real, it must have all the attributes of actuality. The image, in effect, must feel real. The last element we need to add to our visualization, and the most crucial, is emotion. Many Protestant sorors have shared that one of the hardest things for them to do is to visualize people or themselves in their minds. Other people say that it's also very hard for them to become emotional about their mental images. Perhaps that this is because, again, we tend to look at the images and people in our minds the way we do at this photograph. We see it as just a flat, static image frozen into immobility. But people and events in actuality aren't like that at all, are they? They are alive, dancing spheres of vibrant energy, full of movement and emotion. Let's try another exercise. Close your eyes and see in your mind someone you love. It could be a spouse, a friend, a parent, or a child, anybody you wish. Now, you can see this person quite clearly in your minds, and you remember a time when this person was very angry with you. As your eyes move across the face, as you scan it, just the way you would if the person were standing in front of you, you can see just how angry this person is. Now you remember a time when something funny happened. How does the person's face look now? And now you see this person's face filled with sorrow and grief. Look how unhappy this person is. And now the person turns and catches a glimpse of you, and you see the face filled with love for you. How do you feel each time the face changes? You may open your eyes. In this last exercise, I wonder how many of you actually saw the face. How many of you just felt it or heard it? Whether we saw or felt the face, it was just as real, wasn't it? Which points out the fact that the word visualization may actually be quite misleading. We don't need to see something to know it's real. All we have to do is feel it. Our lives, the composite of energy which defines us, is primarily one of feeling. When we say that we're seeking peace profound, are we looking for a visible place or thing? No. We're seeking an emotional state, a feeling of peace, serenity, and security. Everybody, Protestant sorors, visualizes differently. Some see, some hear. But all successful visualizations must ultimately only feel. Something doesn't need to look real to feel real. Therefore, we must never let our expectations with visualization discourage us. We must just accept that whatever we experience is exactly the right visualization experience for us at that time. Let's remember that bad feelings, feelings of failure and negativity, extinguish impressions and break concentration. What's worse, they program the mind against improvement. Have confidence. We are always exactly where we need to be, and we are always progressing just as we should. Because again, something doesn't have to look real to be real. In the outer objective world, the images and impressions we receive are stimulated by external events. In visualization, they're stimulated by internal events. But the process and the effects are quite similar. All experiences, all events impacting us, whether from external or internal events, can and should be learning experiences. Therefore, whatever impressions we receive from our visualizations, let's make the commitment now that we will just accept them, enjoy them, and benefit from the many insights they will bring. For they are just as real as what's in front of our eyes. As a matter of fact, the more often and the more joyfully we work and play with our visualizations, the more we're going to understand them, the more meaning they will have, and the more successful we'll become with them. As we begin to open up to our sometimes unusual and surprising inner images, no matter how fantastic they may seem, we will find that they will begin to have a much more positive impact in our lives. Indeed, many Protestant sorors have shared that some of their best, most successful visualizations have in fact been very silly. One soror experienced a very crushing problem that was solved in a visualization, and it was solved, believe it or not, by a little fluffy green walking bush. Another frauder had a very serious situation rectified by a friendly moose. Working with a terrible family dispute and struggling to create a harmony and love once again in the home, a frauder found that the family dog kept popping into his visualization. He'd throw the dog out, the dog would pop back in again. Finally, he gave up and just put his arms around the furry little guy and experienced much needed love and support.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you can see now the significance of this lecture and why I decided to share it specifically as we approach or make our way through the month of October, where we're focusing on developing resilience and overcoming challenges. Sometimes we're fighting way too hard, and the change that we need to make is actually much, much more simpler than we think. And that's why I wanted to share this, because learning these techniques of visualization, someone not just saying, oh, visualize, oh, do your visualizations, think positive affirmations. We need someone to get down and explain the mechanics of how this actually works for it to be beneficial. Because as you heard her mention, that these negative thought forms can really come down and sap any progress that we're making. So you must be focused, you must be certain, you must be how to say that in a nice way, or in a way that's not sounding like really insane. It's like, narcissists and like these psychopath people who are so singular focused, like they don't even care, about other people. Like that's going really to an extreme. But because of their extreme way of being so self-focused and only believing and trusting and feeling in their reality, that's why they're able to progress. Now, there are other downsides, obviously, to choosing that path that makes it less effective and everything. But this is kind of where I'm getting at, these people who are operating in this way, they have a certain way to grasp and to hold on to their visualizations and their beliefs that is above the normal population, because generally these people who have these personality disorders, the ones who are leading the world right now in every major company, they basically have less empathy and compassion. That means they're able to stay within their own boundaries, and they're able to make that concrete. They're within their boundaries, and their self-image is concrete. Nothing is coming in and out unless they are really having that a fortress around their self-image. And so how can we adopt this without going too far into the deep end? This is kind of what we really need to do within reparenting, because the opposite is, if you had this childhood abuse, you could have gone that narcissistic path or the more aggressive fighting path where you are solidifying your boundaries. I am important. I am solipsistic. And, it becomes very takery and trickery, manipulation, deception, betrayal, all of these tools. And the other path, for the child is that they become codependent and basically they lose all boundaries. And I think this is actually even the creation of some kind of like traits of autism or neurodivergence, because basically you're not able to form your own self because you are not really having the appropriate boundaries. Obviously this is on the scale. It's not you had boundaries or not. It's a degree, a question of degree. How much and how strong and how respected were your boundaries? Because that experience of growing up with boundaries, being taught and coached through them, is how you develop and refine your sense of self. That's how you gain strength in your sense of self, by having boundaries to prevent yourself from being attacked by energy vampires, narcissists, and other abusers who want to exploit your life energy, and for which society does not even punish them from doing that. And so, that last part, that society does not punish them from doing that, is very frustrating when you come to this reparenting process after childhood abuse and neglect, because you're seeing the bad people win, right? And I'm trying to tell you how they're winning, so at least we can understand the mechanisms of what is working and take what can work for us also, because not all of that is bad. There are really good outcomes from that. Just as you could say, okay, being the narcissist and choosing the path of abuse is bad, but it has the good part of maintaining it's that the thing is that it's not the real self-image, right? It's the false self-image, but it is boundaried and protected more than the codependent. And so for the codependent, you can say the good thing is that, okay, they have empathy, they're compassionate, connecting, caring, more honest, but on the downside, they can be quite weak in their own ability to stand on their own feet, right? So there is no yes or no bad, good. There is just how understanding how the world works, basically, and crafting your own way of moving through the world. And as we're looking at resilience and overcoming challenges, a lot of people say that reparenting is hard. Oh, it's hard. I can't do it. Da, 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 da. Again, I say this quote so many times. Whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you are correct. Simple as that. Simple as that. So if you're telling yourself that, oh, it can never get better, then what is even the point of listening to this podcast? What is the point of paying a therapist, of doing anything? Just stay with your chosen coping mechanism. Workaholism, gambling, womanizing, whatever you want to do. But that's also an option if you want to live that way, and if you truly believe you cannot change. But if you do, don't let fear stop you, because it's not that difficult. Something that I've noticed that in this process of reparenting, reading a lot of different materials, taking different thoughts, and it's very easy to get caught on someone else's thought stream, to get thought into their beliefs. But even these great philosophers and researchers, Freud, Jung, Nietzsche, all of these people, right, they still had flaws in their argument. Even Hegel with his, every philosopher has flaws in their argument, And so there is no 100% certainty. It's all about crafting your own way of being in the world, which is something that we didn't get to experience growing up because of our childhood abuse, neglect, abandonment, and whatever else led us to this podcast. And so, again, please stop telling yourself that it's hard to reparent, because it's not. And it's not, because you have this key to helping you rework your own experiences, the stuck and faulty beliefs. And you have the capacity and the power to take yourself to a new life, the one that you deserve, and to exit this cycle of torture and pain and abuse and trauma. You can make it out. Just have faith. Visualize. Feel it. Feel yourself getting better. That is the most important part. As always, thanks for being here. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend.